Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about religion. Disclaimer, I am not religious, and I usually end up Googling a lot of these things. Things like how to create a religion and just what religions do. So, disclaimer, all of these things are just things I make up. So, there are lots of different kinds of religions, and how they appear is usually attached heavily to the history of your world, whether it's a famous prophets, major battles, enlightened people. All these things can give you a pantheon of deities and patrons, or a different set of religions. In D&D, there is a pre-made pantheon of gods you can use, and it's very handy to just take that and put it into your world. It's already there. It works. Or if you wanted, you could have one major religion that just blames everything on one dude, calling out Christianity. There's different ways to handle religion. You could have one major religion that spans the entire globe, but the only problem with that is you have to insert a type of crusades into the history of a world to figure out how that religion was spread across the globe. Or you could have different religions for different countries and or peoples. And that is a lot of work, and it's hard to remember sometimes. But it makes the world just more realistic and gives it more depth. So if you can do that, and if you have the brain power to do that, I really recommend doing that because it turns out really cool. To make things easy, in this world, I'm going to just base my religion off of my space aspect that I did last video, and have one major religion that spans across the entire globe, because I do not have the brain cells to make more than one religion. In the space video, we created 3 celestial bodies: the rings around the planet, a small moon, and a large moon. Connecting a god to each of these 3 objects is pretty easy, and this way we get the diversity of different sub-religions under this major space theme. Choosing things that gods are the gods of is the next part. In Greek mythology, they have a god for basically everything. And Christianity, once again, just blames everything on one guy. Good for them.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
I know I would. So we've got 3 gods to attach symbolism to. What are 3 things that we can blame everything on? This is where you have to get a little bit creative, especially if you have a limited number of gods. I have created a pantheon of gods before where I just assigned everything a different god. It gets busy and hard to remember. So I like this just limiting number of things, actually. So if we think of 3 things that could be like polarizing in the world, we can think of 2 things that are super easy to do, which is good and evil. Just super polarizing. There's good and there's bad. But then there's everything in between. There's the morally gray stuff. That's 3 things. So we can have a god of good fortune, a god of misfortune, and a god of everything else, or a god of life, basically. So we can attach these gods to the different celestial bodies. The god of good fortune can be the larger moon. The god of misfortune can be the smaller asteroid-like moon, and the god of life can be rings, which works out really well because the rings are always there, and everyone always sees them. So they're just a constant, which is really good for that morally gray aspect of the god. And then with the other 2 moons now having this god attached to them, you can create superstitions and religious practices and even cults based around the moon cycles, which I think is really cool. Maybe I'll do that sometime. I don't know. And then that's it. When you're playing with the world, you can really choose which god you want to invoke or call upon on a situational basis. So that's really all I have for religion. If you have any more questions, please just Google them. I just make these things up because they're fun. I will see you all in the next video when we will talk about science. I'm very excited for this video, but also I don't know a lot about it. So we'll see what happens. See y'all there.